Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Arun Wadvani. I'm the Channel Sales Manager here for Ingram Micro Cloud based in Sydney. Today, we're very excited to be talking about the launch of our latest product on the Ingram Cloud Marketplace, which is Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. So what we'll do today is we'll quickly, I'll do an introduction over to our speaker, which is Tim Shaw from Microsoft, who's going to give us an introduction to what is the world of Microsoft Dynamics. And followed by that, I'll just give you a quick update on the marketplace and where you go to actually place the order, obviously once you've found a customer that wants to move forward. So Tim Shaw is with Microsoft. He's in the business applications area. He's an architect with Microsoft, and he's obviously keen to get you across what we're doing. So Tim, I'm going to hand over to you.
Awesome, thank you very much. I'll just make sure you've got my screen, which you do. Not yet. Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tim from Microsoft. You can see my screen now, I believe. So I'm going to start off today going through a demonstration of the product. And then after that, I'm going to go through some of the benefits from a partner perspective and also from the product perspective. So let's start off with the demo. So let me just jump into the demo system. So showing up on the screen is Office 365. So Outlook from Microsoft Office 365 is on the screen. So we're going to start here today. So I'll just do a run through a typical scenario of what we've enabled in Business Central. So I've received, I'm a user called mod admin on a server here, and I've received an email from Tim Shaw from Microsoft asking for a quote. So the email has come from me to this vendor that uses Business Central. And they open up the email, as you can see on the screen, and they can see that I want 7 chairs and I want 2 tables. Now, traditionally ERP, that would mean that I would then take this email and I would open up my ERP system and I would start searching for the customer and then searching for the items and creating a quote. What we do with Business Central is we come over here to this little icon here, Business Central, and the first thing I'm going to do is quickly look to see if the contact exists in my system. And on the right pane here, it will open up Business Central on the screen I've got and give me insights into this customer. So on the right pane here, it's showing me their balance, last year sales to date and year-to-date sales. And then down further, it's going and showing me how many open quotes they've got, how many sales orders they have open, how many sales invoices, etc. And all of these tiles that are on the screen here, you can click on them to get more information if you want to. But we're not going to do that today. Basically, this person wants a quote, so we'll get straight into that. So we'll go back to our Business Central icon, and we're going to go and do a new sales quote. So now it's opening up Business Central again on the right-hand side. And what it will do is the first thing it will do is use the intelligence to look through the email and see if it can actually work out what the customer wants us to quote on. And it's worked out the second item, and it's worked out that that's part number 1920-S in our system, but it doesn't know what the first item is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and resolve that item. And what that will do is it'll bring a list of all the items in my system that have the word chair. So I have London, I have Mexico, I have Munich, I have Moscow, etc. So we'll choose London for this particular one, and that puts that in there. And then we'll give it a tick to say we've got the items. At that stage now, it's creating a quote in Business Central. You can pop these screens out, but just for the sake of today's presentation, I'm going to leave it as it is because you can enter it all as a panel on the side here. So it's showing me that there's a couple of items on here. It's showing me here that there's a subtotal and other details that I can change if I need to change for this particular quote. So now that we've got the items and we've got the quote prepared, our next thing will be to do is actually send the quote by email to the actual customer. So we'll click on send by email. And the end result is what we'll do is we'll get an email opening up on the screen here. That's a draft. And I'll allow this pop up. just actually ignore that for a second. So we've got a quote here sitting as a draft, ready to go out. And if I click on the quote here, you can see the quote is formatted, ready for the customer to receive it. Something to note here is that both this quote and the body of that email are done using Word templates. So you can send the quote out to Word and modify the way it's going to look in Word and import it back into the system so that you can get nice, pretty Word layouts cut as your quotes. So that's all I need to do. So the next thing I would do is send the email, and Tim will get my email, and I've done the quote. So what's actually happened is over here in Business Central. So I'll click on the screen here. So this is actually Business Central login, and this is a role center that I'll come back to in a second. But at the moment, you can see there's 7 sales quotes there. If I click on those sales quotes there, the last one here, which you've seen, I've done this a few times, but the last one here is sitting here, which is the quote that I just sent to Tim. So it's all happened while we were there. It's not a syncing system, it's all online, and that panel is actually a panel with a Business Central screen built into it, allowing the customer to work in Outlook with Business Central. That actually works in both online, and it also works in your Outlook desktop as well. So you have choices of running it in either way, either system. So the Business Central product itself starts off with this concept of role centers. I'm currently logged in as what we call a business manager, and the role centers that you can see on the screen are focused to help the user do their daily job. It's designed to put the things that matter in front of them, and then when they want to do things, they will come up the top here and click on finance and drill down on different things throughout the system. Okay, so I won't go too much further into this at the moment because this is getting, but everything I need to do is on the screen. I can click on any of these things and open them up. And then as I go down further, you'll find things like Power BI sitting in here. So that's a Power BI report sitting in here. Our cash flow talks to Cortana Intelligence. So it goes out to Cortana Intelligence and looks at the data it has to work out cash flow. And then many other things throughout the system. So if I click on the items here, you'll see I have items with nice color pictures on it. On the right-hand side of the screen, as this comes up, you'll see a little embedded Power BI report here. And then down the bottom here, you'll see a forecast. So you can see many different sorts of services all working together in one instance to provide a customer with information and the ability to do their jobs better with those insights. That's the way the system works. So the other thing that I wanted to say today, I'll just close this guy down for a second, is we also have a release coming in October, and I won't go through that in detail today either, but I just wanted to point out one thing that's coming as a preview so you get a little bit more of insight what's happening, is what we call Intelligent Cloud Insights. So Business Central is online, a software as a service, and what we're doing in October is we're moving to allow online as well as hybrid on-prem, so that a partner can configure this in Azure or on a customer's machines, on-premise location. And then we've come together and built this thing called Intelligent Cloud Insights. So Intelligent Cloud Insights will give the customer, using our Cortana Intelligence capabilities, information about their cash availability, sales profitability, KPI sort of information, insights. 7 of your customers are late with their payments. Invoices are supposed to be paid by your customers. That sort of insight with the reporting to add to that all in one site, and that this will combine not only the on-premise data but also the online data into one insight. So if we have a customer running a product called Dynamics NAV, then they can connect their product called Dynamics NAV to Business Central, run with Business Central, and get reporting from both those systems. So that's coming in October as well. Okay. So just to continue now, so that I won't go into any more of Business Central today. We can organise more deep dives into what Business Central does and how it works. I'll go through the PowerPoints that will also talk about that. But if we start off with looking at what CEOs are considering and business operators are considering as their number one priorities, from the information that we've done through our surveys, 86% of CEOs are considering digital their number one priority. So digital services are transforming customer engagement. Every employee can and should be more empowered. The Internet of Things cannot be ignored, and customer experience will eclipse product and price, and customer engagement is an ongoing commitment. So when I look at those, just pulling out a few things, some customers don't understand what Internet of Things are, some customers do, and those that do look to see, well, how can I connect my systems to devices that I have on working to actually improve efficiencies. And that's something that at Microsoft we have invested in quite heavily, and we continue to invest in. And I have seen Business Central working in a manufacturing plant using Internet of Things, showing in Business Central how much stock is left in a silo, for instance. So those sort of things are being empowered by the technology we're using today. Every employee can be and should be more empowered. Well, that will go across to how we connect to our devices and how we show Business Central on multiple UIs across different devices. So we'll come across on that in a second. But that's just to give you an idea of where our research is showing customers are today. The other thing to be mindful of the opportunity is, if we go just into the middle slide here, the total number of SMB businesses in Australia is 2.1 million. The number that matters probably more is around about the 190,000, which is the businesses which actually do have employees. So there's 1 to 19 employees is 781 odd thousand of those businesses, and there's another 50,000 businesses of 20 to 199 employees. So they're probably the ones that matter the most. And then across there, you've got income of approximately 1.8 billion, and a total operating profit of 210 million. So they're the sort of businesses that we look at for Business Central. And when you can see this, the 781, the 890,000 employees is something which we can deploy Business Central into and get those people using our systems. So our CEO said, and one thing that we've looked at Microsoft these days, our industry does not respect tradition, it only respects innovation. So now at Microsoft, we're really about innovation. From Business Central, we've seen the product go through innovation, evolution over the last 5-6 years. And what we're seeing today is the delivery of the product on the cloud as a service. When you talk about this buzzword that's in the market called digital transformation, it's really all about engaging your customers and empowering your employees, optimize your operations, and transforming your products. And businesses are looking to technology to deliver that and help them address all those concerns through technology. When we come to Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central, what we're doing is we're basically creating intelligent business applications in the cloud, and as I said, also hybrid and on-prem. What we have is we have a product called Microsoft App Source, which is a marketplace where partners like you can build extensions and go through a process and publish your extension or your consulting services on App Source. And that allows our customers to see what's available for the product and extend the product without having to reinvent the wheel every time. So on the left-hand side, we have Office 365. We integrate to Office 365 through Graph. So things like you already saw Outlook, Excel, Word, a product called Bookings, Bookings Online. All those products can talk backwards and forwards with Business Central and enable the customer to do things more efficiently, such as I can send all my items out to Excel, edit those and push them back in. That's all standard functionality. On the right-hand side, we have Power BI. So the Power BI reports, the strength of Power BI, enabling reporting on your mobile, but also enabling me to have graphs and drill down on data and put that into dashboard reporting. We have that as standard. We have standard reports out of the system, and then our partners can expand those reports further to customers' needs. We're using Cortana intelligence more and more. You saw during the presentation, I talked a little about the cash flow forecast. I talked a little bit about the sales forecast. So both of those go out to Katana Intelligence instead of the old way of doing things, and Katana comes back with the data that's presented to it and gives forecasts around what you'll need from inventory and what you will need from cash. And we also use the Vision API service. So I didn't show that today, but you can put a picture in and send that up, and it will come back with some of the attributes of the product. So that when you're actually adding a new product, instead of me trying to work out the attributes, I can let the Vision API work that out, and then I can add to that or make changes to the suggestions if I need to. And then the Azure IoT. Now, we don't have really any of that in the product directly as yet, but partners have been using that, and we have manufacturing extension that from one of our partners in Europe that actually connects to IoT and gives real-time information about values of products in silos and other sorts of equipment they have into the system. So instead of me looking at the system seeing I've got 100 in stock, I get a real-time reading, or 100 kilograms or 100 ton or whatever it was. I get a real-time reading back telling me actually there's only 50,000 because the manufacturing process is going but hasn't been updated yet. So I think you'll see more and more of that. It's actually quite easy for partners to extend and work on. Then we have Power Apps, so the ability to build mobile applications that are connected back to Business Central that allow the customer to do other things, such as it could be a list of one of the recent ones I worked on was we gave them an item list and allowed them to scan an item, and we gave them a picture of the item. So now customers are looking for that visual confirmation that the actual product is what the product I'm picking versus relying on barcodes. So we did that in a Power App. Microsoft Flow, using that to, when something happens outside of Business Central to come and tell us, or when something happens in Business Central to go and tell something, another product such as CRM, that something's happened. And then the Common Data Service, which is where we share our data between the Dynamics 365 applications, enabling us to send data backwards and forwards, and also enabling us to report I just had to cough, report on a common data. And what that means is if I do something in Microsoft Dynamics customer or customer engagement or sales, our CRM systems, if I do something in those, then that data is shared across to Business Central where it needs to be by the Common Data Service. But then we put our, we're looking to put our Power BI service on top of that Common Data Service, enabling you to get insights across both applications rather than having to integrate and create data warehouses to do that. Okay. Just waiting for my slide to go forward. There it goes. So what does Dynamics 365 Business Central handle? Well, it handles financial management, so everything from cash to general ledger to accounts receivable, accounts payable, fixed assets, etc. Project management, so we have a job costing module. Operations management, so we have the ability to have a look across the product from a manufacturing perspective. Reporting and analytics, so the reporting side that you've seen a little bit of already. Supply chain management, so that's warehousing and order taking, etc. And then sales and service management as well. So that's all built within the system. It's not external applications. It's all one system that handles that. Our three main pillars are connecting your business, so making sure that everything's connected. So I don't have a financial system here and I have an operations system here, or I have a third-party inventory management system sitting over there that I'm connected to. We have it all built into the one system. They make the smarter system, so the things we're doing with the insights I showed before, and also with Katana Intelligence as well as Power BI, giving that data back to the customer when they need it so they can make those decisions is a core pillar. And the last one is Start and Grow Easy. So you can set up Business Central fairly quickly at a low to do things like other products do today, like Xero and QuickBooks, etc. So you can do that quite quickly, and then you can start rolling out different modules as you like. And then later on, if you decide that you need to do manufacturing and service management, you can basically change your licensing and get access to that functionality as well. So we've designed it. We've done a lot of work actually in the last year to really make it easier to set up and get it going. But we've also kept the ability to extend it and add functionality that is embedded within the system by partners. So product evolution. So this product, basically Dynamics 10 AV has been around since, well, I started with it since in 1997. So it's been around, it's evolved over years, and Microsoft brought the company that developed it, Division, back in 2002 or somewhere around that time frame. But as we've gone through, we've evolved it, we've updated the technology, we've moved to C# and a whole heap of different underlying technologies to bring it out in NAV 2016, around the 2016 timeframe. And at that stage, we also had a Financials Business Edition out in a couple of Pacific markets overseas, US and UK. And then we also released Financial Operations Business Edition in the US and UK as well. Now, they were cut down versions of Dynamics NAV. They were actually Dynamics NAV, but they didn't allow for all the functionalities and the extensions that Dynamics NAV did. And back in December last year, we released Dynamics NAV 2018, which was an on-prem, and we released the last version of Finance and Operations Business Edition. And then in springtime, which was April in the US, we released Dynamics 365 Business Central. Those customers of ours that were Finance and Operations Business Editions were automatically upgraded to Business Central. And then in July, we released it in Australia and New Zealand for the first time. So that's the first time we had a software as a service in this country. And we continue to update NAV 2018, which is our on-premise version. In fall, which is October, that's next month, we will release an update to Dynamics 365 Business Central, which has some core functionality around insights, but also makes the web client more productive for users. And we will also release the on-premise hosted version of Dynamics 365 Business Central with the intelligent edge, enabling you to connect it back to the cloud if you need to. So the product has evolved. Its technology has evolved over many years. It's not a product that's just appeared on the market that we're testing out. It's a product that's got a good pedigree and great functionality built over many years. That's now going to the next level. So when we look at the product, for finance, it's real-time business insights. It's something that our customers have been asking for a long time. Sales, they want to be able to focus on the customers, not the technology. They want things just to work. Marketing, personalized and relevant offers that are related back to actually what the customer is actually looking at. And the IT, technology for business growth. So the ability to keep the technology running and lower costs in those areas, and able to easily scale a solution is what our IT people have been saying to us. So for Business Central, the 6 key benefits that Business Central brings back to a customer is it simplifies the financial management and analysis side. So that company dashboard, that dashboard side is all built in, and you're able to report from it. We empower the employees. So basically you can walk around with different devices, enabling them to service the customer. So for instance, an employee can be actually out on site with internet connection on their mobile phone, looking up information for the customer. That's all standard setup. And we unify the business processes across the channel. So, whether it's the mobile, whether it's social, call center, or web or stores, the back end is one system, giving the data to those other systems as you grow. Integrate with supply chain management. So we have built in warehousing and scanning, and then we have the ability to integrate to larger warehousing systems when required. The streamline the daily operations. We actually have a list of tasks, and we tell people what their inventory is and what's on order, etc., like that, on the actual role center. And the role centers are designed so that it actually shows the person what they have to do during the day, not just a data screen. And the other one, which is very important, the inventory management and purchasing in Business Central is very strong from the status of I can do multiple locations, I can do costing by location, I can bring stock in from overseas, receive the stock and dispatch it, and then I can process the invoicing against that and update costs after that. So we're very strong in inventory management and the purchasing side of that. So that's where some of our major differences from the smaller systems is. So it's an end-to-end solution for small, mid-sized businesses, easy and faster deployment than other systems. That's something we continue to work on from the larger ERP systems. Consistent and secure experience across Windows, iOS, and Android devices. Ability to connect with ERP and financial tools is already in place. The great user experience and the deep integration with Office 365 that's out of the box. And to actually set up the Office 365 box that you saw before then, you press a button, you put in your admin username and password, and the system does it for you. And then it just works. The business insights for analytics, and the integrating with other apps in the ecosystem. So we integrate to other products throughout that you'll see in the App Store shortly. And then we have the modern, intelligent, unified, and adaptable system. And adaptable is important because you are able to extend the system, and you're able to extend that system by creating an app that you sell to the masses, I suppose, or sell to many people, or you actually can do customizations for that specific customer or tenant, as we call it. And customization includes pretty well across the board. So you can add fields, you can change pages, you can make the system do something else when it's posting an invoice. You can get it to go and do something else. You can add extra data tables and so on onto the system by developing extensions for the system. Oops, I went too fast. So from a partner perspective, it's basically our channel is evolving. What we used to see is partners specifying in one industry and sticking in that industry and really trying to service that industry. Now we're seeing the ability for partners taking on by creating their own IP, but also by taking on other ISV solutions to actually become a reseller and actually address other channels. So for instance, if you've spent time with, say, manufacturing, you've created an extension in manufacturing that you're good at and you've got those staff, but you do have people that are good at professional services, then you can work together with an ISV solution to enable you to actually sell into that industry as well. So that's where things are evolving. So rather than businesses spend all their time building their solution for their industry, they can do that, but they can also take advantage of other partners' solutions and ISV solutions that are around to enable them to address other industries and markets at the same time. So it's moving beyond that core industry focus. It's expanding your operating models across multiple industries. Ability to actually expand across multiple business apps. So Business Central is a core solution, but all the other solutions I spoke about, Office, Power BI, Power Apps, Flow, Cortana Intelligence, IoT, all of those are new ways to deliver a solution to a partner, to a customer. And then the last one, which is enhanced value through partnerships. So that's a way to increase your revenue through partnerships with other partners to provide more solutions across multiple industries. So basically the foundation is innovation, economics, your expertise, partnering, and customer success. That's our foundation for your success. So as a Microsoft partner, access to Microsoft's leading technology, products and services and expertise, deliver insightful customer data, and take it across take advantage of Microsoft's innovations in areas like IoT, machine learning, AI, AR, and virtual reality, etc. The pricing for the system, and this is obviously the list price. So we have a team member, which allows a customer to just read and run reports and do employee self-service. You obviously have to have either an essentials or a premium SKU to be able to be a team member. The essentials SKU, which covers everything except for service management and manufacturing, is $89.20 Australian, and then the premium is $127.40. It's important to note that you can't mix those. You're either essentials or your premium. But it is also important to understand that you can actually, in both systems, you can extend the system for the customer specifically, or you can build an app that can be deployed on either one of those license SKUs. We have enablement resources for partners. Ingram Micro will talk you through this as you go forward, but there's a thing called a Dynamics 365 learning portal that is now free to all partners. You need to, obviously, if you're not a Dynamics partner, well, not obviously, but if you're not a Dynamics partner, there's a few extra hoops to jump through at the moment, but once you get through those hoops, you get access to that learning portal, and that portal will enable you to upskill and learn about Business Central. So partnering for success, what we recommend is connect with the community. So we have communities online. So there's actually online, there's a library of docs which is available, which will go through how the functionality and how to do different scenarios and setup, including teaching you how to actually develop. So connecting with the community is very important. Expanding the competencies, so subscribing to developer tools, support and training in software. So when we deliver Business Central online, we often use Azure functions to enable other things to happen within the ecosystem. So, expanding those competencies across those developer tools is very important. We also use VS Code, and you can use VSTS and Git and do versioning. So it's those sort of things that you can learn about. Marketing your IP, so deliver rich solutions via AppSource. That's very important. There's a week ago there was 101 apps in the AppSource. Today there's 106. So people are working to deliver their extensions by the AppSource, and that will just give you access to a larger market. So when you put on the AppSource, that actually gives you exposure worldwide if you choose to sell your extension worldwide. And also gives you obviously exposure across Australia. So that's a great way to get your IP out there. And then partner programs. So take advantage of your program benefits that your partnership with Ingram offer you. So another one which is very important to understand. So we talked about the licensing, the list price, obviously, of Business Central earlier. What we find, and this research we've been working on specifically from a Dynamics perspective, but we find that partners that work on the Dynamics 365 revenue that also create their own IP add about a 25% increase per revenue per user. And those partners that then also work with third-party apps or ISV solutions add on average about another 25% revenue per user. So you can quickly increase your revenue. And then obviously if you're doing Microsoft Office 365, then you're getting even more revenue. So you're starting with Office 365, Dynamics revenue, your managed service if you're providing any sort of service or support to the customer, third-party apps by AppSource, the ISV sort of solutions, and then your own IP. You can take that per user license quite up, and as you build that and you don't churn your customers, you'll just increase your revenue and your profitability. AppSource, Microsoft AppSource, go there, search for Dynamics and drill down on Business Central. You'll see some of the things that are showing up there at the moment. It's a great way. Basically, the experience from a customer is you can go there, you can download a partner's application. Once it's in, it actually automatically installs into Business Central, and then most partners will put some sort of what we call assisted setup that will actually guide the customer through how to use the product and get it set up. And if it's a more complex product, they have a slightly different way of doing that. And then they monetize it, and the partner takes payment for use of their product. That's all sorts of things you can do there. So that's very much worthwhile looking at and getting into. And that comes to the end of my slides. I see we've got a lot of questions. How do we want to handle those?
What we'll do is, anybody on the call, please feel free to send further questions into the chat box. Looks like we've got 3 here, so we'll start off with these, and we'll see how we go for time towards the end. So I'll kick these off to start with. So, question: Outlook plugin, is it compatible with Exchange 2010?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Sorry, that's a quick answer. I can send information. We can send information on what it actually is compatible with, but not. It's more the modern Outlooks.
Okay. Next question we've got here is: do you need silver competency to publish on the app source?
No. What the way we to explain that, to publish through the app source for Business Central, there's a number of key requirements, checklists that you have to go through and you have to match, and we actually test the application before it gets published. So you can't publish directly to the app source, you publish through us, and we go through testing, and if you don't pass the testing then and the checklists, then your app won't go onto the app stores.
Okay. Thank you, Tim. I've got another one coming through. Can you tell us a little about bank reconciliation in Business Central, i.e. which Australian banks can we pull through?
Okay, so in Australia, we have partners that have extended so there's 2 ways to this. There's a product called AMC that you can sign up for, and they cover ANZ, CBA, Westpac, etc. They have a product that will import that statement in for you. Basically what happens is the bank information goes to them, they manipulate it, and they send the file back to Business Central in a format that it can import. So you have a choice of going through AMC, and then we have also got partner add-ons that enable you to basically import the file from your desktop. So they've created the traditional way of doing it, basically when you download the file and then import it up, and they cover most of the number one, the larger Australian banks. You also have the ability to extend it and write an extension to cover that import that you require as well.
Right, excellent. And we've got one final question here, which is one I think I can answer. The recording, will it be available through Ingram Micro after the webinar? Yes, for all the people that have attended and registered for today's session, will be sent a link at the end of the session, which will give you access to this particular recording. Okay, that's all we've got for now. If we do have further questions, what I'll do is I'll quickly jump in now and just show you where you can order the product now on the marketplace, and then if we get a bit of time at the end, if we have any further questions, we can address those towards the end. Okay, so this is where you go to actually place your order on the Ingram Micro Cloud Marketplace. I suspect that many of the people on the call today would have already be familiar with our platform. For any of you that are new to it, I'm happy to take you through it in more detail separately, but just bear with me just while we go through this quick introduction. So it sits on the Ingram Micro Cloud Marketplace portal. The section it sits under is under the business applications area, and I've put there an arrow for you to show where you buy Microsoft Dynamics 365. Then from there, it will take you into the screen for Microsoft Dynamics 365. And I've selected here in the example the monthly billing option. We actually have both options available, so monthly as well as the annual billing option as well, and that's for the full suite. Then from there, you'll be able to see the area where you need to look at the conditions around CSP and some detail there. It's really just to make sure you can read through that content. and should you be provisioning additional users to an existing instance that you have, the place to do that is actually on the reseller control panel, or RCP for short, and the marketplace is meant for people that are actually looking to start a new instance. So it just makes that clear before you go ahead and make the purchase, so that also you keep it all together. For example, if you're looking to add on additional users or reduce users, that's all administered through our portal, which is the reseller control panel. So again, just click on the continue function there, and that will take you into the screen where you can actually then make your purchase. And I've picked here the monthly SKU as the example I've included here. So there I've written Dynamics Business Central 365 Business Central. I've just picked the external accountant, the free user, which is always good to track. I picked there the Business Central Essential user. I've just picked one user, and the Central team member as well. I've picked there a quantity of 5. And then just click continue from there, and that'll take you into my cart. And you'll see there those are the three items which I then selected. In there, you'll also see the MSRP price and, of course, your reseller price as well. Then from there, you just proceed to the checkout. And then from there, you enter your customer's details. If they're an existing customer of yours, their details will be already included there. Of course, if they're a new one, which is the example that I've picked here, you just click on the radio button there where it says new customer, and you provide the details of your customer, including the company name, email address, phone number, etc. Then from there, you go into the product configuration, and that will be tracked by your NPN or Microsoft Partner Network number. In this particular case, the example I've used is, of course, Ingram Micro, surprise there. And that will then take you into my cart where you'll see the 3 items have then been ordered. Then from there, you proceed to the checkout, and that will take you through to the order placement section, where either you'll be paying in advance with your credit card as per normal, or if you do have terms set up with Ingram Micro, which a lot of you already have, then obviously that will come as showing as part of your terms, and that will allow you to then continue with your purchase as a terms customer. If you choose to as well, you can also select a purchase order number for your own internal reference. So you can go in there and just key that at the bottom and then just click proceed. Then from there, you'll see your details summarized there, just a breakdown of each of the users and the prices for that particular option. And then from there at the bottom, you'll see a couple of boxes to confirm. I agree with the additional terms and conditions of Microsoft Series pre-service. And the last box is I agree to the Ingram Micro Service terms and conditions. Just click submit. That will then get processed, and you will then receive a purchase order number coming through. Also, so that's your first order placed on the Dynamics, and obviously from there, your customer will get a notification that their provisioning is then taking place. What I also want to just go through just very quickly is we're actually going through a final stage testing of our what we call the User Experience 1, or UX1 for short. We've got a few partners which are now running a pilot program for us with the new look and feel of the reseller control panel. So I've just given you just a screenshot of here what that new look and feel looks like today. You'll see there are 8 tiles, which is the different sections that we've broken down the marketplace. So for example, if you're looking to add on a cloud enablement service, in addition to what you've just purchased on the platform, you can just click on one of those tiles and they'll come out with some options to recommend to you about additional products that will complement potentially what you've just purchased, or help you to make a decision about should you want to add on additional services down the track. So those 8 areas include backup and disaster recovery, business applications, where I've just showed you where Dynamics sits, communication and collaboration, cloud enablement services, digital marketing, industry solutions, infrastructure, and lastly, security. Of course, if you need any additional help, the sales team are always here. The account manager is based in Sydney, and a lot of you will know your channel development managers as well, and they're always there to help should you need help around selecting certain products and advice about that. Also, as part of the UX1 upgrade that will be going live very soon, you also have the ability now to actually see margins. This is a new feature, And we're very excited to now have this additional functionality that will come through with the latest release of that product. So I'll just give you an example there of Office 365. It's the business class email for small business. And it will show you there on the annual subscriptions, the MSRP price, the actual margin as a partner that you're making, and therefore the cost price against those particular products. Very good for you to see up front when you're placing your order, the margins that you'll be making on that particular customer's order, and it also helps you with your cash flow as well. All right, as I mentioned, if you do need any help on navigating the marketplace or get across any of our enablement programs or additional help that you may require, you can feel free to contact us there at Ingram Micro Cloud AU at ingrammicro.com, or you can call us in Sydney on 02 9381 6735. Or of course, if you'd like to see any of the previous recordings we have, the trainings that we've run, they all sit on the Ingram Micro portal. That's Ingram Micro Cloud ANZ, and you're welcome to join our Ingram Micro LinkedIn, Twitter, and our YouTube channels as well, where we have fresh content going on there every few weeks. Right, and lastly, last but not least, I just want to talk very quickly about our major event coming up for this year. This is the Ingram Micro Cloud Summit running in Sydney and Melbourne. We're running the event in October on the 23rd and in Sydney at the Western on the 25th of October. This is the third year running that we're actually running this event. We received really positive feedback from the partners that attended last year. And this is the only event that we run in Australia where it's dedicated to cloud from the Ingram Micro team. So it's a great opportunity to hear from thought leaders, peers. Obviously gives you the opportunity to network with your peers, hear from the vendors and some other related people in the industry about what's happening in cloud and really where we think everything's going, and also how we do things at Ingram Micro. The tracks that we'll be running will include infinite security, infinite possibilities and to help future-proof your business, infinite collaboration and really what that means around modern workplace, and lastly around infinite technology, so that digital transformation in practice and some of the ways that we'd like to sort of give you advice on recommending how you do things in your business to hopefully take better advantage of how cloud is working in with other partners. So the URL at the bottom there to register, it's www.ingrammicrocloudsummit.com.au. Please feel free to register on there. If you need any additional support, again, you're welcome to contact the sales team. And we're also very pleased to be working with Microsoft, who for this particular event are our elite sponsor. Okay, just checking if we've got any further questions that have come through just in the last couple of minutes. And I think we're pretty much there. So thank you so much for joining this afternoon. We appreciate you giving us the time to hear about our latest release. If you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to me or any of the sales team at Ingram Micro, and good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.